Hi, all, Lisa here. And I'm posting one last video today to suggest a new tarot tag, one called hashtag follow your suit. The idea behind this tag is to post about the tarot suit, one of the four minor arcana, that most speaks to you right now, that you most feel driven by or impelled by or guided by, or perhaps that really sums up where you are right now. You know, maybe in terms of the suit, in terms of the element, in terms of the associations you have with the suit, and to approach talking about how that suit is working in your life by looking at maybe just one or two cards from three decks. Okay, so thinking about the suit that is most moving your life and talking about it through a couple of cards, one card, two cards from three different decks. Okay, let's see what I mean by this, and let's see if it makes any sense to you. So for me, the suit that is most foremost in my life, that has been kind of my Zen koan, my teacher, my nemesis, my everything, is the suit of wands. And the irony here is that I really think of myself, I mean, I had thought of myself as a sort of swords kind of person because I'm an intellectual. And you know, the Queen of Swords, the kind of harshness that she can embody, the sense of grief and loss, the way that she cuts through her world, the sharpness of her profile, that sort of sword of justice. I thought, like, oh, that must be me, and maybe it is. But more and more, I'm realizing that actually it's the story of the wands, the story that is told in the progression from ace through to 10, and then the archetypes carried in the court, that probably captures kind of my life struggle, and also my greatest strengths. So I'm realizing more and more that I really need to dive into the wands. That sounds kind of weird, but dive into study of the wands and think about tarot through that suit. So follow your suit. Okay, so I really, want to talk about three decks that have kind of had an impact on me very recently, because they're all three pretty new to my collection. So the first, and this is just a small tidbit, but is the Golden Thread Tarot, which I have maybe done two readings from, and it's a really, I got this, I bought this from someone on the Eclectic Forum. This is the just totally delicious plastic version. The cards are so supple, as if they were a really dreamy paper, but they're plastic, so they are, black all the way through. The gold foil is to die for gorgeous. Um, I love the sense of circuitry. It's a very clever deck, and the app is completely brilliant. Aesthetically, I'm not super drawn toward this deck, but I'm intrigued by it. At any rate, this was the first card I pulled from the Golden Thread Tarot, and it's hard to read, there we go. It is the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is a card that has been in my world a lot lately. Two and Three of Wands. I feel like I'm exploring things, and I'm sort of new avenues are opening up, new challenges, that sort of stirring of energy, and that sense of being on the brink of something. What this card has suggested to me um, comes in the globe that is, I'm used to seeing this card, or thinking about this card in the Rider-Waite imagery, where you don't really see the face of the figure, and you're focusing more on the horizon. And like the Three of Wands as well, that this is, about kind of a passage, an opening, or think about the ways in which this is envisioned in the wild unknown. So, very often a sense of this card as being about an opening that we need to move through. But here we have the figure facing us, and the issue isn't so much the opening, it's really the globe in his hands. And the deck creator, what she says about this card is the transformation of vision and ambition into planning and progress, starting to move into a way forward. Okay, so she's capturing that idea of forward, but she says, the man beholds the material in which he can make his designs come true. So her ultimate focus in this card isn't so much about moving forward, but as the relationship to the material that we hold in our hands, that in which we can realize our potential. And I think that that idea of the wands as the relationship between that which is immaterial and that which is material, and a kind of making manifest of the will in this relationship to our world, that's really a powerful idea, and something that I'm grappling with now. Like, what does it mean to like enter our worlds and shape them, reshape them? What does it mean to make manifest? Not in the way that maybe the pentacles or the discs are about a kind of manifestation in the world of embodiment, but instead this kind of imprint of will, of what in Sanskrit, the perfection that Buddhists talk about virya, zeal, energy. What does it mean to take energy and bring it into the world? The Suit of Wands is all about that. So, second deck. So this is from the Peinture du Monde, and this is the Seven of Wands. So, you know, the kind of stand your ground image. So here's the thing. When I first pulled this card, I just thought, this is wrong. This is a terrible depiction. You know, she's tied to a tree. So in what sense is she actually standing her ground? I mean, she's stuck. But I was really intrigued by the difference in perspective. So, you know, if we think about the, let me just call it up in my iPhone in the app. If you think about the kind of traditional Rider-Waite imagery for this card, where the figure is on top, on high, sort of standing ground, holding fast, defending whatever his world from advancing forces. He's in a position of advantage, right? I mean, he's literally has the vantage. He's up on high, and this reverses that because, you know, we can't possibly. I mean, I can't imagine that one identifies with the threatening figure here. Whoops, sorry. You know, you identify with the woman, the victim, the vulnerable one. So I think what this card teaches me about the wands is the vulnerability that courage and strength entail. Like, what does it mean? You know, even when you can't move away, when you can't actually literally fight them off, when you're in a position of weakness, not in a position of vantage, what does it mean to stand fast? What does it mean to be exposed and yet stand firm? So I find that powerful. Finally, I want to look at two cards from, this is a brand new to me deck, the Margaret Peterson. I got it in this, you know, orgy of tarot swapping and purchasing from a collective forum. And this is the first edition, the German edition, which, you know, it's Königsfort, which you can also get in English. And it's a beautiful edition. The card stock is gorgeous. Of course, it's in German. So here's the thing. Literally the first two cards I picked from this deck I drew were the Nine of Flames and the Ace of Flames. So, you know, if there's any wonder about what suit I'm following, what suit is driving me, it's wands, it's fire, it's energy, it's kundalini, it's virya in the Sanskrit sense. It's this bad boy. So, you know, it's really hard to not try to think through the Rider-Waite system when we see an abstract deck like the Margaret Peterson. And I don't presume to know this deck at all. I've just had it, you know, maybe 2 weeks. So, you know, the Rider-Waite imagery is there in my mind. The Nine of Wands, this kind of, you know, I'm still standing after battle. I'm still holding sentry. But it's not clear that, other than the sense of a kind of endurance of experience and what it means to be on the other side of battle, it's not clear that imagery is really that helpful in understanding what Margaret Peterson is doing. Um, this figure here, this figure here, who is she, he, and then there's sort of the ghostly figure that's right adjacent. I mean, I see that as a kind of ghosting figure of her or him. I'm projecting a gender. And then the sort of blast of flames emerging and the white of realization or illumination. So what is this an image of? Um, Margaret Peterson, what she says is, this is the fire of the fire of healing and maturity. So that sense, of having been through the battle. The nine of flames make you aware of the whole spectrum of fire: the fire of growing, of destruction, of the rage, of passion, of desire, of warmth, of nearness, of lust, of touch, and of inspiration. The fire of the body and the fire of the spirit. So this whole sense of the full Monty of whatever the suit of fire means. This is the card that helps us think about um, uh, the fire of both the two German words for experience, of Erfahrung, which is like the experience that you can have, um, where you can learn things through the senses, like, I learn from experience, empirical experience, and then Erlebung, like the experience, the lived experience, having lived through something. It's much more subjective and interior. So, the fire that um, the fire that I'm like the way you temper steel through fire, the fire of experience that kind of tempers me, the things I endure, and then the fire of experience in the sense of what I live through, what shapes me through my mind and my heart. Um, this is the whole extent of fire. And then the ace of fire is um, the second card I drew, right, from this deck. So, and this is the origin of fire. This is fire as spontaneity, fire as what in as what completely consumes everything. The fire of what's right here, right now. The fire of the combustion of life. She says it's the fire of vitality, the fire that breaks, encapsulates, buds, frames, and limits. She says, what gets bundled, boiled, and heated wants to get out. So this is the fire. This is the fire of like the vitality caught in the bud of a flower that makes it burst and bloom, and ultimately all the flowers fall out. So, to follow my suit, if my suit is the suit of flames, of fire, of wands, this is the suit of vitality, of figuring out what does it mean to be tempered by experience, by life. What does it mean to stand my ground through my experiences? What does it mean to burn with the various things that make me grow, but that also make me suffer? The It's the fire of life. So I think that I'm needing, at this point, through the suit of wands, to really understand what it means to bring my vitality into the world and what it means to allow the world to shape me. But, the 7 and the 9, they both have that feeling of enduring stuff, being of experience. And the sense of the ace, or of the 2 in the golden thread, is reminding me that I can bring my own fire into the world and shape the materiality of my life. I have so much to say, I think, or to work through with the suit of wands. So, yeah. So tag, you're it. What's your suit? How do you follow your suit? So 3 decks, a few cards, 1 or 2 from each deck. that helps you talk about, think about, breathe through the way in which one of the four tarot suits is shaping your world. Okay, over and out. Take care, everybody.